would love to have a camera on Melvin Gordon, wherever he is right now, because the Denver Broncos just cut him. Really? I'm the problem. I'm the problem. I know I fumble. I know I put the ball on the turf. I get it. But really, I'm the problem.
I thought
I'm
more
the
or less
problem.
He'd be like the Alonzo Mourning.
Cordarrelle Patterson has a seam. Patterson splits it. Goodbye. For celebration, not only for the massive touchdown, not only because Cordarrelle Patterson's a great teammate, that is the new NFL record. We just looked it up. That is 9th kickoff return for a touchdown for Cordarrelle Patterson. He passes. No, believe it or not Devin Hester. Hester was a combination of punt returns and kick returns.
Welcome back to Sports Done Right. I'm your host, Hunter Wright. Joining me is my co-host and brother, Chase Wright. And we've got a great show lined up for you today, says every host of every show ever. We've got rapid fire news. We've got Cordarrelle Patterson breaking an NFL record for kick return touchdowns. We've got the Hall of Fame semi-finalists being announced. And we posed the question, what if Jimmy G replaces Brady again? And then, as always, the offensive and defensive players of the week. Now, getting into the rapid-fire news. I'm going to make this one quick. Involving the shooting that happened at the University of Virginia a while ago. Virginia running back Mike Hollins has begun walking again after the shooting. There were 3 casualties and 2 people injured. Hollins was one of the people that was injured. As I said, he is walking. He is still recovering in the hospital. And he reportedly did not know that his 3 teammates had passed away. That's a very sad story for everyone involved. But at least Hollins is walking again. So there is that. On a much lighter note, former Virginia quarterback Bryce Perkins is expected to get his first career start in the NFL. With Matthew Stafford and John Wolford injured, the Rams are turning to the 3rd stringer, Bryce Perkins. He went 5 of 10 for 64 yards in mop-up duty against the Saints, which they lost. Rams have been losing a lot this year. During 2 seasons at the University of Virginia, Perkins passed for over 6,000 yards, 47 touchdowns. He had 1,692 rushing yards and 20 rushing touchdowns.
I remember facing him in the Orange Bowl.
Moving on. Jackson State has now finished with an undefeated 11-0 record for the first time in school history. And it is all thanks to that man, Coach Prime, Deion Sanders. So the question is, what's next for Deion? Is he staying at Jackson State, or do you think he's going to be moving on?
I think he stays.
I think he stays too. There's a lot of speculation about Auburn and other schools.
I've heard Colorado and USF.
I also heard Colorado and USF. I could see USF because, like, Deion recruiting in Florida would be just unfair. But Colorado.
Yeah. They probably reached out, or maybe.
Did they write some giant-ass check we don't know about? But
I don't know, but he has, like, his kids are still on the team. And
yeah, his son's the quarterback.
Yeah. I think he's going to work it out with him.
And he, like, all the work he did recruiting Travis Hunter to Jackson State.
That's what I'm saying. He reeled in Travis Hunter. Why would he leave after 1 year?
Yeah. He only had 1 year of it. Now, plus, Deion has been preaching how important HBCU is to him and how much he wants to build up the HBCU scene. He's only been there 2 years. 3?
This is his 2nd year.
But, yeah, he's only been there for a couple of years. If he were to leave now, then that would validate everything that all the bitter, jealous HBCU coaches have said about him. Validate everything that the haters said about him. But everything he said he was going to do, he's done. He stuck to it. He stuck by his word. And I think he's going to stay because he is serious about revitalizing HBCU football. I don't think he's going anywhere. Certainly not going to Auburn.
That's Lane Kiffin's job.
Well, we'll get to that. The Arizona Cardinals have fired their offensive line coach and running game coordinator, Sean Kugler, for allegedly groping a woman in Mexico City.
Look at him. Looks like Stone Cold Steve Austin hasn't worked out in 20 years.
Oh, man. Stone Cold if he don't lay off the Steve Weisers. Yeah, he's out of there. And the Cardinals are the focus of in-season Hard Knocks, and it was in the show. Cardinals have been the perfect team for in-season Hard Knocks. You've got this. You've got everything going on with Kyler Murray. You've got Antonio Hamilton, who had that grease fire in his home last year. You got the Buda Baker injury, where Buda Baker had like a high ankle sprain. They said, yeah, you might miss 3 games. No. I'm not missing any games. I'm Buda Baker. Buda don't miss games. You had J.J. Watt almost losing his life before the birth of his first child. It's been a wild ride in Arizona. And then there's, DeAndre Hopkins, and A.J. Green, Robbie Anderson, all that.
Plus, you got Kyler Murray, personality right there.
Got Kyler Murray, yeah. They've been the perfect team for Hard Knocks. Now, Lane Kiffin absolutely destroys this reporter in Mississippi. So John Sokolov tweeted, breaking, Ole Miss head coach Lane Kiffin plans to step down as the Rebels coach Friday and head to Auburn to become the Tigers' next head coach, according to sources. Sources say the Tigers haven't officially offered the job to anyone yet, so Lane to Auburn is happening. Story soon. Lane Kiffin tweeted out a statement. This just in. Breaking news. John Sokolov of WCBI News in Starksville, Mississippi, plans to step down as lead anchor and head to WLOX to become their new lead anchor. Sources say WLOX hasn't offered the job to anyone yet, so John to WLOX is happening. Story soon. Oh, checkmate.
How's it going?
Oh, you don't screw Lane Kiffin.
And of course, there's some reporter out where Mississippi State is.
Oh man. They may not have gotten the dub last night, but that's a dub for Kiffin.
But I think he is going to Auburn.
He reportedly just promised his players he's not going anywhere. So if Lane Kiffin leaves now, then he's going to look like one of the biggest, frauds ever.
So what everyone already looks at him as? Wait, when did you hear that? That was today?
Last night.
Last night?
I think last night before the game, he promised the team, I'm not going anywhere. So I think Kiffin stays in Ole Miss.
Lane to Auburn.
Here's the thing. If Auburn doesn't get Kiffin and Auburn doesn't get primetime, who does Auburn get?
Auburn wouldn't have got prime. I think Deion would be coaching at Auburn.
Oh, but people I don't think Deion's going anywhere. But people wanted to say, oh, Deion to Auburn, it's happening. They need a coach. He's a coach.
If anything, I'd like to see Deion to Georgia Tech. They need something.
But who does Auburn get if they don't get Kiffin?
it would have to be like a name we wouldn't think of, like a name you wouldn't think would move, a big name that they just reel in. Kind of like a Link.
What if they just get the corpse of Matt Rule?
No. Well, kind of like the Lincoln Riley thing. No one saw that coming. No one saw the Brian Kelly thing coming. I feel like Auburn's going to get someone that you wouldn't see coming.
Yeah. Now, and with Deion, like there was some report saying that some people are hesitant to reach out to Deion for head coaching jobs because they want to talk about the academic prowess of his players. And I'm sitting here thinking, when have we ever talked about the pass-fail rate or grades of a coach's players? Name a coach that people sat down and said, yeah, but look at his players' grades. I'll wait. Like, that's clearly just people trying to put the brakes on Deion's momentum. But you can't slow down prime time.
I would not like the Auburn job.
I mean, first of all, you got to compete with Nick Saban in Alabama. Have fun with that. Now, this is so sad. So pathetic. So first of all, the video that I did on Russell Wilson on this channel has reached 2,000 views. Thank all of you for that. That's a huge accomplishment for this channel, for me, and for this brand. But oh man, he's in the news again. So, Russell Wilson got Melvin Gordon cut from the Denver Broncos. Now, for those of you who don't know, the hip-hop rapper, which one is he? The rapper Future, his name's Future, he is the ex-fiance of Wilson's wife, R&B singer Ciara. Ex-fiance. And Ciara has filed a $15 million lawsuit against Future. So, Future's music has been banned in all Broncos facilities ever since Russell Wilson arrived. I mean, it sounds like some petty behind stuff right there, but whatever. After the Broncos' overtime loss to the Raiders, Melvin Gordon was blasting Future in the locker room. Wilson was furious. He demanded Gordon's immediate release. Next day, news broke Melvin Gordon released from the Denver Broncos.
Russell,
anyone that wants out of Denver, blueprint is there.
I'm blasting Future.
If you want out, Jerry Jeudy, if you want out, Melvin Gordon has shown them the way. For anyone that wants off of that, anyone that wants out of that shit show. But first of all, you've got Javonte Williams injured. You've got what else do they even have? Your only running backs right now are Mike Boone and no, not even Mike Boone. You have Chase Edmonds and Latavius Murray. Boone's the other one that's injured. Javonte Williams is injured. Mike Boone is injured. You have Latavius Murray and Chase Edmonds. And you're cutting Melvin Gordon?
Doesn't make much sense. But I mean, obviously he wasn't.
What?
He wasn't thinking about the offense or the team when he did that.
Has he been thinking about the team at all? Has he thought about anything but himself? Himself, his brand, his legacy. Has he thought about anything but that since he arrived in Denver?
I don't know what's going on with Russ.
You're short at running back and you're cutting Melvin Gordon. And Melvin Gordon cleared waivers, which I find that surprising. The Rams cut Darrell Henderson. Jags scooped him up. I was happy about that. But no one wanted to claim Melvin Gordon off waivers?
He hasn't done anything. Plus he has a fumbling problem.
He's fumbled a few times, but only 2 of them have been lost. But still, fumbling has been an issue. But his salary hit, his cap hit's only $1.25 million.
But that's what Russell Wilson has to do to keep her happy. I understand.
I don't. Like, that's a clear message to the team. Hey, either you go along with everything I say, or you're out of here. It's a musician, for crying out loud.
I feel like you got a picture of Melvin Gordon right when he found out the news.
He was heartbroken. Like, he didn't have a good time in Denver, but he didn't want to be, put out of work. Melvin Gordon actually thought he was getting cut because of the fumbling.
Did they tell him?
They told him it wasn't about the fumbling. If you're Melvin Gordon, you gotta be feeling some kind of way. But I'm surprised no team claimed him, because like I said,
I'd want to find Russell Wilson.
He's got those 12 bathrooms. Hopefully he's got a safe room. But I'm surprised Darrell Henderson didn't clear waivers, but Melvin Gordon did. But Jaguars picking up Darrell Henderson, I like that, because JaMychal Hasty is not a number 2 option. But yeah, this is just bizarre. This is sad. This is not a good look for Russ. Anything to add?
Sad.
Broncos country. Let's ride. Moving on, the man of the hour. The man of the hour in the second quarter of Atlanta's 27-24 win over Chicago. Cordarrelle Patterson made history with a 103-yard kick return touchdown. It was Patterson's 9th career kick return touchdown, which gave him the all-time record. It broke a 3-way tie between him, Josh Cribbs, and Leon Washington.
Josh Cribbs.
Yeah. So Patterson now holds the NFL record for most career kick return touchdowns, and good for him. Good for Cordarrelle Patterson. He's a good team player. He's an amazing athlete. He's a guy that when it wasn't working out at receiver, they said, we want to try you at running back. Fine, I'll do that. Whatever gets me on the field, whatever helps the team, I'm game.
He's been a big weapon for them.
Oh yeah, Cordarrelle Patterson's been a way better running back than I thought he would be. Like, I would take Cordarrelle Patterson at running back right now. But Patterson has led the league in kick return touchdowns 7 times. He's led the league with the longest kick return 4 times. He's led the league in kick return average 3 times. And he's led the league in kick return yards 2 times.
I don't think that kicker was going to catch up to him.
Oh, yeah, no. You got no chance, man. No chance. He's just trying to look good on TV. You got no chance of catching Patterson. It's not happening. Moving on, the Pro Football Hall of Fame semi-finalists have been revealed, and among the names is Batman Fred Taylor. Golf clap. No, he deserves more than a golf clap. All right. But the list of 28 semifinalists has been revealed. Eric Allen, Jared Allen, Willie Anderson, Rondé Barber, Anquan Bolden. A little surprised to see him there. Henry Ellard, Jari Evans, London Fletcher, Dwight Freeney, James Harrison, Rodney Harrison, Devin Hester, Torrey Holt, Andre Johnson, Albert Lewis, Robert Mathis, Darrell Revis, Steve Smith Sr., Freddie T., Joe Thomas, Zach Thomas, Hines Ward, DeMarcus Ware, Ricky Waters, Reggie Wayne, Vince Wilfork, Patrick Willis, and Darren Woodson.
It's a good list.
This list will then get narrowed down to 15 finalists. And then after that, they will pick the Hall of Famers. Now, I find some interesting omissions here. First and foremost, no Jeff Saturday?
He's too busy coaching right now.
What the hell does that have to do with him being nominated, with him being a semifinalist for the Hall of Fame?
Who doesn't?
Nothing. Did they not want to touch him because he's a bit of a controversial topic at the moment? I don't understand why Jeff Saturday is not among the semifinalists. I'll kick someone out right now. Eric Allen, bye.
I don't even know who that is.
Willie Anderson, bye. Anquan Bolden, bye. Albert Lewis, bye. Torrey Holt, like you, bye. I mean, it's Jeff Saturday. Jeff Saturday is a 6-time Pro Bowler, Super Bowl champion, PFR All-2000s team, and the Pro Football Reference 46th greatest player of all time, according to their approximate career value statistic. He comes in 46th with a AV score of 118. I also see no Tom Nalen. 5-time Pro Bowler, 2-time Super Bowl champion, one of the greatest offensive linemen ever. Why is he not in these among the semifinalists? But Devin Hester is. I've got very mixed feelings about Devin Hester in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Why?
I feel like, on one hand, if you were the greatest of all time at something, you deserve to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I feel like, on the other hand, we're talking about 3 years, really, where he was actually putting up huge numbers, and the rest of his career he was kind of just there. He was a non-factor on offense. His only claim to fame was his work on special teams.
I know, but he's listed as one of not the best kick returner of all time.
And I feel like he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, but I feel like I can't put him in the Hall of Fame over some of the names on this list. Like,
so you think he will get in? It just shouldn't be this year.
I think Hester is one of those guys that has to wait for maybe a weaker class of competition. I don't know, because for me, I feel like he deserves it, but if I had to choose right now between putting Devin Hester in or putting Rondé Barber in, Rondé Barber played 20 years at a high level. If I had to choose between putting Devin Hester in or putting Andre Johnson in, Andre Johnson was, for a while, the greatest receiver possibly in the NFL. Him and Larry were just two guys that were always among the best, whether the numbers were there or not. And Johnson's numbers were there.
I still thank him to this day for that Portland Finnegan fight.
Oh, everyone does. DeMarcus Ware has.
I tell you what, Darrelle Revis is a lock.
DeMarcus Ware has over 130 career sacks. I'm not putting Devin Hester in before I put DeMarcus Ware in.
Oh, Reggie Wayne.
Yeah, Reggie Wayne's there. Joe Thomas. Darrelle Revis is a lock. James Harrison, Dwight Freeney. I mean, it's hard to put Hester in before these guys. Jared Allen. Put him in before I put Hester in. But what are the odds that Fred Taylor gets his due?
This year, low.
It is a very stacked class this year. No lie. It is very stacked. Now,
Low.
Tony Boselli got in last year. And I thank God that I was there for the Hall of Fame ceremony. It was an amazing experience. We got the first Jaguar in, and it's opened the door for possibly Fred Taylor to get in.
Why is Jimmy Smith not being brought up?
You know why Jimmy Smith's not being brought up. Off the field reasons.
I know, but
which personally, I feel like off the field stuff shouldn't.
we're looking at football talent.
I feel like the Pro Football Hall of Fame, you look at accomplishments, you look at on-field resume. I feel like that's what should matter. But they like to look at the person, dissect every little thing about everybody. Again, I think that's why Jeff Saturday is not a semi-finalist right now. He's too hot a topic. That's the only excuse I can think of for why he's not on this list. They didn't want to touch him. And for what? Accepting a job that he didn't apply for? But Fred Taylor could get in. Boselli's opened the door for the Jaguars now. Fred Taylor, on his career, 11,695 rushing yards, only 66 touchdowns. During a 3-year span, from 2002 to 2004, he had 5,233 all-purpose yards. And what's going to hurt, and he had so many 1,000-yard seasons. What's going to hurt him, he only had 1 Pro Bowl.
Because it's biased.
I mean, it's biased. It's an anti-Jags bias. It's a small market bias. Fred Taylor were on the Cowboys, he'd have been an 8-time Pro Bowler. You can't convince me otherwise. If Fred Taylor had been in Chicago or New York or New England, which he did play in New England, but that was at the tail end of his career. Just a stopgap. But like if he had been in a big market town, if he had been on a big market team, he'd have been a multi-time Pro Bowler. But it was the Jaguars. It was Jacksonville. People weren't paying much attention.
You can turn on the tape. You can watch. Go on YouTube. You'll see what he's about.
And he knows he deserves this. He knows he belongs. But it's interesting. Fred Taylor posted something on Twitter where he posted the results of the 98 Rookie of the Year voting. And it was Randy Moss, Peyton Manning, Fred Taylor. Now that year, Randy Moss ran away with the votes. Randy Moss got like 90% of the votes. He got almost all the votes. There were only 3 people that did not vote for Randy Moss. Now, Moss had 17 receiving touchdowns. Rookie record. So, understandable. Fred Taylor had 1,000 rushing yards and 14 rushing touchdowns. He had a great season. And if you add the receiving touchdowns, then he had just as many total touchdowns as Randy Moss. He had 3 receiving, so that gives him 17 total touchdowns, just as many as Moss. Now, what's interesting is Fred Taylor received 1 Rookie of the Year vote, or Offensive Rookie of the Year vote. He got 1 vote. Peyton Manning got 2, and all the other votes went to Randy Moss. Even though Freddie had just as many touchdowns as Randy Moss. And let's not forget that this is the year that Peyton Manning set the record for most interceptions by a rookie. He threw 28 interceptions. Still got 1 more vote than Freddie.
Is what it is.
I think that's very telling.
It's just like the MVP voting nowadays. You see where Micah Parsons said?
Michael Parsons said, "Why is this a QB only award?"
Because they keep trying to this quarterback's not playing as good as he was at the beginning.
It's quarterback's world. Y'all just live in it.
Just saying, like, oh, he's not playing as good as he was at the start of the year. All right, what quarterback can we look towards next for MVP instead of opening your eyes and seeing what Micah Parsons is doing on defense this year, what Justin Jefferson's doing, catching the ball. I mean,
if MVP voting were fair, Henry would have an MVP. Cooper Kupp would have an MVP. J.J. Watt would have an MVP. Aaron Donald probably would have an MVP. No, each time they lost out the quarterbacks. But I find it amazing that Manning threw more interceptions than any rookie ever. Still got more Rookie of the Year votes than Fred Taylor. because Peyton Manning, even at that young age, even as a rookie coming out of Tennessee, Peyton Manning had more name value than the Jacksonville Jaguars franchise. But it is what it is. Moving on, we pose the question. Well, Matt Miller poses the question of if Jimmy G replaces Tom Brady in Tampa. It's going to be wild if free agent Jimmy G replaces a retiring Tom Brady in Tampa next season. Did you see this happening?
I could see it happening just because
That would be something.
obviously Trey Lance is going to be the guy.
The Niners are moving on.
They're going to get Trey Lance. But the real question is, where does Jimmy G go? And this could be a landing spot for him. I don't think they roll with Kyle Trask.
They're not going to roll with Kyle Trask.
Yeah, they're going to try to get another quarterback. So I could see it happening. I don't think it'll happen, but I could definitely see it happening.
Now, Garoppolo, he was drafted by Belichick to be Brady's successor in New England. But then all that did was drive a wedge between Brady and Belichick, and there was a power struggle, and Kraft forced Belichick to trade Garoppolo. So Garoppolo went to San Francisco. But if Jimmy replaces Brady, I mean, it feels like it's his destiny. Jimmy is destined to replace Tom Brady. I could definitely see him going to Tampa.
I mean, it's something Tampa could do too. I mean, you still got a solid team. You can go pick up a decent
that team
quarterback.
That team is still in win now mode. They got Mike Evans. They've got two good running backs. I mean, Fournette and Jones seem to have lost a step, but they got that Rashad White kid. He's playing pretty good. Mike Evans is Mike Evans.
Yeah.
The standard is the standard. But all they really need, they need a quarterback. I could see Jimmy going there. Because Trey Lance is the guy in San Francisco now. That's Trey's job.
You drafted him that high, he's so potential. You gotta roll with him.
They gave up so much to move up and take him. So,
me personally, I really haven't seen him play all that.
That's the thing. Like he sat out. He was being groomed, and then when he got a chance to play, he got hurt. So we haven't got a chance to see what Trey Lance is going to look like.
Because we know what the team is. The team, if they're firing on all cylinders, can beat anyone in the league.
Is a quarterback away from Super Bowl contention. That's what the team is.
They're in Super Bowl contention with Jimmy.
I know. All they need is a quarterback. As long as they got a quarterback, they've got everything else. So next year, if they got a quarterback, they'll be contending. This year, they're contending. They just need to make sure they've got a quarterback. And Kyle Shanahan is an offensive mastermind. If Jimmy doesn't go to Tampa, though, then where does Jimmy go? I hope he has the sense of mind to not go to Carolina.
I think that's like the new Cleveland.
Carolina is the new Cleveland. Carolina is now official. Look, Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold. I mean, Matt Corral got drafted and immediately got re-injured. He was injured when they drafted him. He got injured again. Carolina is officially where quarterback careers go to die.
I mean, they got P.J. Walker.
That's where his career went to die. After his success as an XFL quarterback, his career goes to die in Carolina, where he's nothing. They're the new Cleveland. Unfortunate for everyone except Cleveland. Offensive Player of the Week, Tony Pollard. He had an amazing game. The Cowboys dog walked Kirk Thuggins.
I can do my boy like that.
I didn't do your boy like that. Them boys did your boy like that. Pollard, 80 rushing yards, 6 catches, 109 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had an amazing game against the Vikings. He didn't have a great game on Thanksgiving, but he had a great game against the Vikings.
He just proves week in
He
and
needs to be
week
the starter.
out
Why is he
better
not
than
starting?
Zeke,
Why is he not
he's
starting?
not getting paid.
I know.
Zeke.
But whose fault is it that Zeke's getting paid?
I mean, you can try to make a 1-2 combo work, but I'm just not paying Zeke that much.
Look,
If
Pollard
balling out.
is clearly the better running back right now. He needs to be a starting running back, but he's not the one making starting running back money. So no, Pollard needs to be starting.
He does.
Defensive Player of the Week, Chris Jones, 5 tackles, 2 sacks, 4 quarterback hits, and he sacked Herbert with under 30 seconds left on the final drive as the Chiefs pull off the comeback victory over the Los Angeles Chargers.
Chargers are disappointing me this year.
Chargers are disappointing everybody this year. They have been a massive disappointment. Not as big as the Raiders and the Broncos.
That city. LA Rams, LA Chargers.
Oh, what happened to LA?
Disappointing.
But that will conclude this week's show. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment down below, and we will see you next week.